This is the Sports Hit List. By the fans, for the fans.
In the 5-4 matchup, we got the Chargers versus the Texans. Paul, who you got here?
After what I seen on Christmas, bro.
And not talking about Beyonce.
The only thing that was good on Christmas was Beyonce. Okay, I mean Derrick Henry.
Beyonce slayed as always.
Let me tell you something. I don't know any of the songs Beyonce was singing out there.
You didn't listen to Cowboy Carter?
Okay, and Blue Ivy was doing dance moves. I said, "Hey,
wait a minute. You didn't listen to Cowboy Carter?"
Oh no, I ain't listening to no Cowboy Carter.
You gotta give it at least a little run through a little once. I mean,
you're not with Shabuzi. You're not with Shabuzi, era man.
In the car, you know what I mean.
I ain't know the dude name, but I be hearing him when I'm in the gym at 5 o'clock. They be having, when you go to the gym at 5 o'clock on the screens, they be having all sorts of crazy stuff on there. So they got a country music channel at the same treadmill I use every morning. So I knew the moves and shit. But I couldn't remember the guy's name. And then they said Shabuzi. I said, you know what? He looked like a Shabuzi, right? Black guy doing country music. They got to give him the craziest name you can find. So they gave him Shabuzi. Yeah. Right? But with all of that, Joe Mixon is not enough. You got to think, I owe the LA Chargers an apology. And we're in an apology setting today. Travis kicked us off with the Sean Payton apology. I owe Justin Herbert an apology.
He's been waiting for it.
And I'll say this. There is something to be said about who wins Super Bowls in the last 30 years. All right? I'm willing to go 30. It's game managing quarterbacks. They asked Justin Herbert to do less. He was able to do more with less. More efficient, more effective, more wins. We've watched Mahomes in his worst seasons win championships. There is a setting, there's a trend, right? We'll use an analytical trend here. Game managers deliver. They can defend now. They're committed to handing the ball off. And they'll just find a way. And whenever Justin Herbert needs to rewind the clock a little bit and let the ball fly 50 yards, 60 yards, he can do it. So give me the game manager. As my boy Ray Nall will say, shout out to Lieutenant Ray. Jim Harbaugh gets a chance to hand C.J. Stroud another major loss, and it's going to happen on Saturday. Give me the charge.
Travis, I always have some nuggets for you. C.J. Stroud, the youngest quarterback to win a playoff game at 22 years old, 3 months and 10 days. Does he do it? Is he able to win another playoff game in back-to-back years?
You know what's the funny part about that stat? You can't add to it. He a year older, so he can't be the youngest because it ain't gonna happen this weekend.
Bo Nix is finna be the second youngest quarterback.
Bo Nix probably older than him.
30. Bo damn near 30. Probably got kids already.
Right. Listen, I've been, as Paul gave Justin Herbert the apology, I've been on the Harbaugh and Justin Herbert bandwagon from the get-go. I knew Harbaugh was going to come in there and be able to turn this team around. I didn't know if he was going to get them to the playoffs this year simply because of their division and the Chiefs, you know what I mean? But he found a way to get this team to the playoffs. This team, they know how to rush the passer. They defend well, as Paul mentioned. And the offense, the Texans have not looked good. That offensive line has looked in shambles. Their wide receiver room is decimated by injuries. I mean, you still got Nico Collins, but you lost Tank Dell. You lost Stephon Diggs. The defense has actually played relatively well. You know what I mean?
Defense hasn't been the problem. I agree.
Right. They just haven't been able to block it. It's been a sophomore slump for the Texans. And I would say if they weren't in such a weak division, they probably wouldn't have made the playoffs. But I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one because the Texans just aren't. They haven't looked good, and I think the Chargers will come. The Chargers have what you want in the playoffs. It travels, a run game and a defense. Those two things travel in the playoffs.
And it's funny you mentioned if they wouldn't win the division, they wouldn't be there. I had seen. I don't know where I seen it. Okay, but I seen a scenario. It might have been Adam Silver that was looking into this concept, where they get rid of conferences or divisions, so to speak, right? And teams just get seeded the way they see it. Because it does suck that the Vikings have to go on the road. It does suck. It sucks that the Chargers are playing in Texas. It sucks that divisions matter because we all know the Bengals deserve to be in the playoffs and not the Texans.
Yeah.
This is what sucks about the sport.
I think the NBA got rid of divisions.
NBA started to kick that theory around,
the
right?
NFL
Our last matchup in the AFC is the division rival that's known. That's just, I guess, if you want to talk about narratives, like there's no better picture than getting the Steelers versus the Ravens in the first round playoff matchup. You know how lovely is that matchup? Now we switch over to the other Harbaugh brother, Travis. We got Steelers Ravens. It doesn't get any better than that. Just
never get tired of you. Listen, we just said we tired of watching Cowboys Giants. We ain't never tired of watching Steelers Ravens. The Steelers. Listen, the memes on Mike Tomlin.
Crazy work.
That man got his winning record, and it's just been in shambles since. I don't know what it is, man, and it's frustrating to watch but I can't pick the Steelers in good conscience. The Steelers, they're going into the playoffs on a 4-game losing streak. I believe one of those losses include the Ravens.
Toughest 4-game stretch to lose to end the season in the league, though. Come
on now. We can't pick it. The offense looks in shambles. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why George Pickens can't. There needs to be a study done on how Mike Tomlin has been able to handle wide receivers over the course of his career. Because if you think about it, all these dudes end up being nutcases.
In one place.
Like they all end up being nutcases. I don't know what it is, but I mean the defense is still doing what the defense does. But guess what? The Ravens coming in. They are at full strength. They are coming in ready, and they are on a mission as well. They move. One of the best moves they made all season was moving Kyle Hamilton back to safety and making sure he's back there. That defense they started off terrible, but they've looked good towards the end of the season. And then the offense has they've been clicking. We don't know what the status of Zay Flowers is yet. I'm assuming he'll play.
I don't know. Actually, moments ago, it says they're feared that he may miss the wild card game.
Ooh. You would think, damn, Deontay Johnson would have been nice right about now, but they couldn't get that situation right. But I mean, listen, I still think they have enough to take care of the Steelers, man. The offense just hasn't looked right. Unless Russ go out there and he find that playoff magic, which is possible. We've seen that with Russ. He will go out there and find some playoff magic. I'm gonna pick the Ravens on this one.
Well, speaking of that, Paul, I mean, the Steelers going into the season had two different and dynamic quarterbacks. Could you see a Justin Fields being put into a situation where it's like desperate times calls for desperate measures and Russ gets
Hold on, Carl. You're good. You ever seen Analyze This? You're good.
I'm just saying. Listen, I've been keeping track of this
because you knew exactly who to hand that up to with the Justin Fields.
He did the right thing, right?
Listen, I've been working with you guys for years. This is why I'm a man.
Justin Fields take not a bad game.
But again, could we see a possible Justin Fields sighting in this game? You know, Steelers down, and you go with a younger
to answer
hand.
the question, it's not could we, it's we should see that dynamic. Even if he's in there just for a few plays to change the way they're rushing off the edge. Because we know with Justin Fields will hold the edge better than duct tape, okay? He's going to put the ball out there and stare at you. And if you do something stupid, he's taking it 50 yards to the house. That's the Justin Fields we know. Okay? I don't know, Travis.
But here's my problem.
I don't know, man.
Here's my problem with the Justin Fields thing. When they've tried to insert him into the offense, it's a tell at this point. Because I haven't seen him pass the ball when they do that.
Listen,
so you automatically know it's a run.
Smith, the worst offensive coordinator.
Jesus Christ! Like if you're gonna putting him in, yes, it gives you the fear of the running game, but also you have to be afraid because he's a quarterback that he's gonna pass. They haven't done that, so every time they put him in, I know a run is coming.
But that's the change right there. It's every time we bring him in, we run it, and Sunday we don't run it, we throw it. That's the change. The change is to win in the playoffs, you've got to do things you do really well, or you got to try something different. And I'm okay with that. But I don't think this is a layup, my man. I know. Listen, another Vegas spread, that's ridiculous. For all my gamblers out there, you should be taking the Steelers at plus 9.5 today because they're not losing this game by 10 points. Okay? I don't see it. Zay Flowers is not going to play. I'm telling you now, I just watched Ian Rappaport last night, and I seen what he said this morning. There's a legitimate concern about a sprain knee for Zay Flowers. He will not be out there on Saturday. He won't be out there, right? So let's get that out of the way. Now we're talking about a team that has no legitimate receiving threat. Outside of a flinky-dinky Hail Mary to Rashad Bateman, they do not have an option. So now you can actually load up the box, put Minka on Andrews, and defend Derrick Henry and Lamar, who they've always defended very well. This is the same team that beat Baltimore 18-16 earlier this season on field goals. We know the Steelers understand the Ravens. This ain't going to be like a Texans game, okay? So Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game in a long time. Reynald, if he was here, would tell us the stat.
Oh.
But I think
he would wonder why Mike Tomlin still got a damn job.
I think the Steelers walk into Baltimore and shock the nation. And it'll be the first time in the history the two front runners for MVP lose in the first round. Because Lord knows, I know we love, and I say we as in the African-American community, we love Lamar Jackson, okay? But in the playoffs, I'm a Chiefs fan. And I've seen Lamar fold time in and time out. I've seen him fold to the Titans. I've seen him fold to the Chiefs. And you're going to see him fold against a division foe on Sunday. All that hanky-danky MVP running up the score stat pad and stuff won't matter against the Steelers. Because guess what? Russell Wilson is going to be doing dance moves with Ciara at midfield when they shock the hell out of the nation. Give me Russell Wilson and the Steelers, goddammit.
Yo, funny I actually saw Ciara in concert last summer. She was actually pretty cool, man.
Ciara, listen. Ciara a little too tall for me.
Well, let me say this, Paul.
Now you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid of tall now.
The Parlay P.
Thanks for watching the Sports Hit List. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. In fact, do it now.